Hello, everyone. Art Burns here. Hope you're all having a great day today. So, as a stress reduction coach, I've done a lot of research into neuroscience. Now, that's basically the science of the brain and the nervous system because it impacts stress so much. And so, today, I want to talk to you about a specific network in your brain, okay, a neural network called the default mode network, okay. Without getting too technical in it, because it's very very complex. Basically, what the default mode network does is it becomes active when you are in a non-task oriented activity, okay. In other words, when you're doing something that does not require a lot of effort or a lot of attention on your part, that's when your default mode network is active. Now, there's two things that happen when your default mode network is active that really impact the stress response in your body. The first is that, especially when your default mode network is acting in isolation or in disintegration with the rest of your brain, you tend to start to see yourself with a false sense of separate self. Okay, that means that you see yourself as disconnected from the rest of the world around you. The second thing that happens is we have the tendency to do what psychologists call selfing, okay, which means that we think of ourselves and not only as separate from the rest of the world, but we tend to think of the things that are wrong with ourselves. Okay, we tend to think of the mistakes we've made in our lives, the things that are just not going well in our lives, we tend to have a dismal view of the prospects of our lives, right? And so these two things combine to cause stress in our body because when you feel isolated and you feel alone, when you feel a separate sense of self, right? You are going to feel, isolated and alone. And that's a scary thing, okay? The same reason why the earliest human ancestors, right, bonded into tribes, right? Because they knew that being together with others was safer than being separate from others, right? So that same instinct is alive and well in our minds today, right? And the second reason why this causes stress is that when you're thinking about the things that are wrong in your life, right, you're going to get into negative thought patterns, right? And eventually this is going to result in a fear-based thought pattern. And the minute you start feeling fear, just like the fear of a separate self, you're going to start feeling the stress in your body. Now, the way to sort of neutralize this effect is to practice, paying attention to what you're doing, okay? Actually, there's two different ways you can practice. Number one, the way to integrate your brain and to get through that false sense of separate self is to practice compassion. Okay, because when you feel yourself connected to others, when you're focused on building a connection to others, then you don't feel separate anymore, right? And now you feel connected, and when you feel connected, you feel safe, so you feel less afraid. The second thing that you can do is to practice paying attention to what's happening as it's happening, especially in the most mundane tasks of your life, okay? Because this is where the default mode network becomes active. So if you're constantly paying attention to what's happening when you're doing the things that don't require a lot of your attention, then you're going to sort of diminish that effect of the default mode network. So if you have any questions about this, please hit me up with a comment or send me a direct message. And in my next video, I'm going to tell you how all of this has to do with addiction. And I don't just mean addiction to chemical substances like drugs and alcohol. All right, everybody, have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening. I wish you well.